All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is September 10th, 2018, and the title of this Monday night webinar is Looking Left and Trading Right with Lightning and Power Meters. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk, therefore there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we'll get started. By the way, just real quick, because we have new people come in also, and even some of our, veterans that have been even a few months or veterans that have been here, 9 years as far as that goes, it never hurts to repetitiveness of remembering things, okay? Because you really need to draw on your charts. You're going to see these lines that I draw in that room every day. It's not a secret, it's actually easily learnable. It's not like it's just magic that I'm able to draw those lines at the proper place that these things bounce or when they hit their head and roll over. It's just observation of charts for the last, a lot of years. Okay, so what I like to personally do is I like to look at this little webinar chart first off. Okay, this is a real chart that we have a template for called the webinar template. And of course, if you're looking at this, and you've been told that higher lows and higher highs mean that the market's heading up, then what kind of a trend are we in right now? And what kind of a trade will we be looking for? And I won't even wait for the answers on that because it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Higher lows and higher highs. Now, you can say that you've basically topped out. See there? They pretty much topped out. But you also want to draw a line here. Now, this is not what I consider to be an identified swing yet because we've never taken out this high. But right under here, just a few more ticks under that is definitely an identified swing that'll make a difference of whether this market will head up or down. Now, if this does take out this top, this will be our new low. Everybody see that? That's really important to remember because what you're looking for is you're looking for a little pullback. For instance, like right into here, to give an example, I'd probably be looking for a pullback into this area here, more than likely, to see if I could get another trade. All right, let's just draw it and see if it did. I'll draw lightning on here. And, well, it's actually there now, as a matter of fact. I've got this chart moving, so it's actually moving as we speak. Okay, so see, by drawing on my charts and looking to the left to trade the right, I already know where my trade's setting up, don't I? Okay, so once you get that in your head that this is what's going to happen, then we've got to trade and trade properly by using lightning and by looking at our chart that frankly, we worked on the development of that for many years, and it's a very, very good chart. Now, this is a real chart with real prices on it and everything, but I've got them all blanked out, transparent, just so that I can look at the chart itself rather than seeing all the prices and, the colors and everything else that's on the chart. First, I want to get my idea of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a short. For instance, till it takes this out, that's my identified swing, right? On the left, see it? High, low, higher, high. All right. This is not an identified swing. But if it was to decide to break down, more than likely, what would happen is it would break this swing. It'd probably even break this one a little bit. And then it would more than likely come back and kiss, wouldn't it? And that's what we would be looking for if this was to decide to roll over. And our software will catch it too because it will actually turn red if this was to happen. Okay, now we're not looking necessarily for this to happen because it's holding this low even as we speak. So let's look at the actual chart and see if looking to the left to trade the right actually pays off, because I tell you, most of the time it does. Now, one thing I want to reiterate just real quick too, before we get started too much, I stress every single day to be very, very careful when the market opens on equities, okay? Because I'm here to tell you, if you box in these little boxes at the opens, you know, when they're whipping around like a yo-yo, you know, they'll fake you in. You know, they fake in people, and then, you know, if you get down, you get frustrated. You know, wait a few minutes even. Wait for a thrust and a pullback. You know, even if it was going to thrust, you know, just like it's going out of style, it's more than likely going to pull back and at least give you that minor pullback that we teach. On longs, it's line 6, breaking stealth, and on shorts, it's line 2, breaking stealth, right? Okay, so let's look at the actual chart and see if we can figure this thing out. All right, I'm going to go over here to an actual chart with colors on it. And lo and behold, it kind of confirmed what I was saying, because notice that our software has changed the midband to green, the background's green, okay? We didn't get this phantom trade. This was Friday, evidently. I just threw some information on this chart because I want to see if everybody can pick these trades. This is actually the start of, what would that be? Friday, I guess it was. This was probably Thursday then, and this is Friday, evidently, okay? So what would you do, team, if you saw this happening right here? I mean, you know, you're looking at that and you say, well, okay, it's kind of in a range. I see that. But right now it's even getting a higher low. So wouldn't we just simply box it in? Wouldn't that be a good idea? And looking to the left to trade the right, can you see a conservative trade and an aggressive trade? I'll draw some on the chart, and we're going to take the trade here in just a minute. You can see it's still moving. All right, I'd draw a trend line, something like that. That's where it's about at right now. See it? All right. I would draw, if I was doing more conservative, I would do this, and I'd actually wait for this to break up above, pull back and kiss. This is conservative, because it would kiss on top of that swing and then take off, okay? That would be a conservative trade. Now, otherwise, this is a breakout trade, okay? And I'm here to tell you that breakout trades, if you box them in, you know, like I'm doing right here, what happens to most people? You know, you end up getting filled here for a short, or you getting filled here for a long, and then they pull right back in this box, and then they decide which way they're really going to go after they take about $150 from you. Okay, if you did 2 contracts, they'd probably take, you know, more than likely, you know, $150 or $200 from you pretty easily. Okay, so by looking to the left to trade the right, I see, well, let's draw lightning so you can actually see it. I see it, but I didn't draw it. But let me just show it to you. There it is. All right, notice how lightning has your high, your low, your lower, your low, your high, your lower low, your lower high, and your lower low. So that is an identified swing. But notice that on the left of the chart, things are heading down right now. Okay? Right at this moment, you can clearly see that they're doing thrust, retrace, and it's heading down. What would it take for it to head back up? It would have to break this swing. But again, that would be called a breakout trade. I would more than likely take a chance at this trade here myself, simply because it's also breaking that trend line rather than the breakout trade. Okay, but if you're wrong on the type of trade that I'm talking about here, you need to get out fairly quick. Okay, let's see if that actually works. I'll put Object Trader on. I know when everybody's in the room, you don't really see Object Trader because it takes up quite a bit of room on the charts. And plus, we're not in the habit of really just doing any more than actually teaching people how to see trades. You know, I show charts all the time that'll show where I got in and things like that. But, you know, we're fishermen. We teach people how to fish. We don't feed them fish dinners. Okay, we've gone over that before. All right, so let's go to Object Trader. And let's see, I've got a max quantity of 5. That's I think, pretty good. All right, and we'll go ahead and put Object Trader on the chart. Okay, now this will be in replay mode, but I can still trade this, okay, by simply turning on my region. Let's go ahead and do a region. I'm going to get rid of this for right now. And let's just turn on a long region because we already diagnosed our charts. And amazingly, this actually pops in right where it's at. It is breaking the trend line. So more than likely, I would probably just do that, okay, because it's breaking my trend line. All right, and I'm expecting it to head up. But I'm only doing it, if you notice, with one contract, okay? Even though that's a $10 instrument, so one contract can be pretty hefty if you get stopped out, right? Okay, but I could add one if they happen to break here and come back and kiss. Okay, so I just leave this turned off until it breaks and pulls back and kisses. Let's see, as this example, Gary, sometimes when I look left, I have a little problem trying to see higher lows, higher, etc. Guess because it's on an angle, is there an easier way to look at it? Well, Lewis, when you look at the prices like we're looking at right now, okay, if you look at this one right here, to give an example, let me get rid of all the lines on it again. Where would you draw your lines on this chart? You know, if you were looking at a low here, all right, you got a high here, and if it breaks this swing, this is a higher low, right? So as this heads up, this is my new established low. Then you get a high, you get a pullback, doesn't quite come into here. See, it's pretty close, but not quite. And then it breaks way up, okay? So this is your new established low on the left side of the screen. Now that's looking left to trade right. This is your left side of the screen right here, okay, that we're looking at. And it actually goes all the way to here right now. Let me see if I can get this. Kind of goes right through here, right? Like so. That's kind of my left side of the screen, right? So I have a low, high, higher, low, higher, high. So I draw a line like so, just underneath that swing. Now on my right side of the screen, I've got a high, I've got a low, I've got a little lower high, okay? So on a micro scale, this actually broke below this swing, you know, but we're still looking at longs until they take out at least this support. So I draw another line, all right, like so. Because these are larger swings. This is lightning 3. So with lightning 3, you're actually drawing on your charts and keeping up. See how that pulls down on top of that swing right there? It just kind of popped up, pulls back and kisses it and takes off. Okay, so if I was looking at this chart just like I'm looking at now, I would be looking at a trade like so. And that's pretty much what we did on that next chart. Okay. Let's see, don't you need 2 points to draw a lower line? Well, Lewis, on your question, this is lightning 3, keep in mind. So it actually draws the numbers. These numbers are pretty important because that's a lot of bars. You know, if you look at the actual chart, you'll see a lot of bars right here. So these numbered ones are pretty important because this means that this is at least 15 swing strength. And it also means that with the white letters and the blue letters up here, that it's at least 5 swing strength with a 12 range chart. Okay, that's what your lightning 1, 2, 3, and 4 is. Your 3 and 4. Lightning 3 is this yellow here and this green, and lightning 4 is the blue and the white. And lightning 4 is a 12 range chart. Let me go to it real quick. See, on your lightning 4, you're looking at 12 range, 5 swing strength right here. All right, and on your lightning 3, you're looking at 4 range, 15 strength. Okay. What does that mean by swing strength, Paul? Well, what we're looking at whatever size chart you're looking at here. Like this is a 4 range, 15 strength. Okay. So what that takes to actually draw that is you're going to have to get at least, you know, breaking above this previous swing, to give an example. Okay, and we're looking at least 15 swing strength to get there, which is actually the candle strength. Okay, let me show you on the actual chart here. You'll be able to see it a little bit easier. Okay, now you know that this number does not draw. You know, if it could draw here, we'd all be magicians, right? But this number doesn't draw here until this has actually done a good swing strength, okay? This more than likely draws probably right in through here is when that drew. Okay, I'll show you some that'll actually happen in real time as we go. I'll have to speed the chart up. But like, see, this one drew here. See, that's 15 swing strength. And then right now, you don't have another one. Okay? Now notice we're really slow. This must be, yeah, it's about 12 p.m. at night. Sorry about that. I picked a lousy time to do this. But we're in one. We're down $10. All right, we're up a little bit. All right, now notice that this has popped up above my little box. Now what I'd like to see it do, if I want to get in another one, I'd like to see it thrust up a little bit and pull back and kiss. Okay, so I would probably put my box on top of that swing. See the swing right there? And then, well, let's see if it'll bounce up a little bit first, though. Let's just look. See if it'll give us something. Not yet. I'm not going to turn it on just yet. It's got to thrust up above this swing and come back and kiss it. See, right now I'm only doing one contract, so I'm not really risking a whole lot. I'm going to go ahead and put my stop just under that swing. Let's see if it does anything. All right, now notice that it comes back and kisses it. Okay, so if I wanted this trade now, what I could simply do, if I wanted this trade now, let's say that I wanted to add 2 and do a region touch. We're already at 2, so I'm going to have to go 3 now. Everybody see why? Because see, this is the region, and that's 1 tick, that's 2, more than likely 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this one at all because I turned it on afterwards. But we can actually even move this and do it that way too. See if it works. If it does 2 ticks above, or pardon me, yeah, we'll do 2 ticks. We'll do 2 on that. Since we already kissed, see, if you drew your line, notice that looking to the left to trade the right, you kissed that swing right there. That's what you're looking for, because these big time algorithms are just doing this all the time out of New York and out of all the big, banks and everything else. This is the way they trade these systems. Okay, let's see if we can get that little trade. See, it kissed perfectly right where I wanted it. This could also be called a kiss trade webinar, because that's really looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, now notice over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you're starting to get higher lows and higher highs. Let's go ahead and get that trade again. Well, we'll go ahead and move it just a little bit, because see, I wanted it right there on that line. I could go ahead and take this, by the way, because it is bouncing off this swing, and that's where I would want the trade. That's the way we draw them in that room all the time. Now, we'll probably get it here in just a second, because it's going to finally go 2 ticks above this box, if it does. There you go, just got 3. All right, and I would more than likely draw my lightning on my chart. Let's go ahead and get rid of lightning 2. And I'm going to draw lightning 1. All right, lightning 1 says I've got a swing right across here. See how it just wicked it? I'm going to go ahead and put my stop there, looking to the left to trade the right, but I'm going to do exit on close. Okay? Look to the left also to trade the right, because when they start breaking these micro swings, they're going up to check these a little bit larger ones. See this lightning 3? You could actually take off a contract here. Well, if I can draw it. Here. You take off another one here. And you could ride a runner. Okay? That's looking to the left to trade the right. If you looked at the webinar little chart, you'd see this even a lot clearer than we're seeing it now on this chart. But see how it's drawing it? If you draw this on that other chart, it'll draw exactly the same way. All right, notice we're up like $150. We may lose this. It's hard to say. We might get a lower high, but so far we're not. But I would go ahead and take some coin there, and I'd ride a runner. And my runner, I would go ahead and use lightning to take my runner off the table. Viper traders, you've been with us quite a while. Where is lightning right now on this chart? Anybody? Well, it's not here just yet, is it? It's close though. Yeah, right now lightning's right down here. You're right. So that's where I've got my stop. Let's see if it closes above the swing. Guess where my new lightning will be? It'll be right there. See, not yet though. If it closes above it, it'll be this will be my new identified swing. And you could always protect some coin. You don't have to take 3 contracts and just go for the gusto. You could take 2 off right now if you wanted to. It's up to the trader. I like to at least trust lightning, because lightning will make a big difference in how much money you make. See, so far they're just testing the swing. Got a little higher, but it didn't close. That's going to close, it looks like to me. See if it does. Not yet. Now you could bring your stop under here right now with an exit on close, because more than likely it would hold. There you go. So wouldn't you bring your stop just right under here for right now? Exit on close. See, that's why I'm not much of a mid-band for holding, getting out of my trade, because that's 24 ticks from that top. Let's see, Brian says, I sometimes get confused about lightning. You mix it up showing lightning 1 and 2. Okay, the reason for that is because when I'm trading, looking at 4 range bars, and I'm trying to get as much as I can out of a trade, but also be smart about it. Let's see how that just hit that top. Let's see if it takes us out. Looks like it's going to. Is it going to wick it? It wicked it. See, it didn't take it out. I put it on exit on close. Now, will it take it out? Possibly, but it didn't. See how lightning works? That's a good example of how it actually works. Now, more than likely in a case like that, I would have probably put my stop just under here, because I'd more than likely go back in this thing just real quick, simply because it's right at support, which I'm wanting to grab it. Too late, but I'm going to go ahead and grab it anyway. See why I did that? It basically took me out, but if I was not talking and I was trading, I would have moved my stop where this swing was with close. Because when they wick like that, the very next bar, they'll usually take you out. Okay? And that's important to know too, okay? Because this can make a big difference in how much you make or don't make. Let's see, we got, what, 2 on? That's fine. We'll go ahead and take some profit there. Put our stop. Wait till it draws lightning. See how they hit those? I mean, if you draw on your charts, they're amazing how accurate they are at hitting them. Okay, let's see if we get a little swing we can identify. It's getting close. It's almost here. Not quite. Now, could you protect? Obviously, you could protect it if you wanted to. And what I'd recommend if you do that would be to use like Sniper or something like that to take maybe 1 contract off, because it looks like we're giving up some of this trade because it's not quite getting up there just yet. But watch and see if lightning doesn't actually still make you a winner on this trade, because as a rule, it normally does. We'll see. Let it play. Now, Brian, one thing keep in mind too is that basically when you're trading with Lightning 1, they're a little quicker, but your Lightning 2 can sometimes be a little bit too much of a stop. And you've got to kind of judge it on, there you go, look at that. All right, where would your stop be? Anybody? If we get a lower high and this goes red, you could take it off the table. but I'd put a hard stop under here for sure. And let's see if we get any higher on this or if this turns red. So far, so good. Still okay. High, low, lower, high. If it closes below this line, we're going to be out of that trade. Not yet. Okay, now what I think a lot of people do is they end up getting in, let's say, for instance, if we get out of this trade, I don't know if this is for sure going to do it, but it's double topping right here, right now. If it goes red, I'll go ahead and kill it. And I can do it with the actual tool too. I'll just do PM1 short. And if that goes red, it'll take me out of one contract, which is back to break even. There it did, just then. Everybody see how that works? Okay, now is it time to go short on this just yet? No, because you're still in an uptrend, right? Exactly. Okay, so let me show you what Lightning 2 would look like on this same scenario right here, because Brian was asking that just a minute ago. The reason we developed Lightning 1 and 2 is simply because you can use both of them. Okay, that's green, so it's a little harder to see. But notice how Lightning 2 was okay anyway. Lightning 2 just has to have 2 candles, where Lightning 1 just has to really have 1 candle. And like over here, for instance, see where I saw this high, this low, this lower high, it didn't close. High, low, lower high. Finally closed on that bar right there, see, below that swing. And that's where we got out. That's absolutely the way you can take that out. Now, what we're waiting on right now is we've got to get a pullback, okay, because we've already done a trade. It's already thrust up, it ratcheted up, so we're waiting on a pullback, and we'll see if we can get one. Now, drawing your charts, let's go back to our other chart real quick, and let's get rid of these lines. And let's see if we can draw on this chart and tell what's happening. Bear with me a second. We'll take off Lightning 2. There's Lightning 3. Now, this is our new low. It's really close to 64 right here, like so. So, question for the team. If this comes down anywhere in this little sweet spot right here, wouldn't that be another good, well, it'll be over here, but wouldn't that be another good trade? Because you ratchet up, okay, you've got support right here. That's too minor of a pullback. I don't think I'd take that trade. And you got support right under here, like so. And I probably would take that trade. We'll see if it gets there. 67.82 to this little area right here. Now let's look at our regular chart. See what's happening. So we're saying 67.82. Let's see, where did it go? Like right there on the chart, right? Let me change this to darker for you. All right, and then we're going to go with right here is the very low that it could go. And then this one right here. Now, the way I see this chart right now, you've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a same high basically, and then you got a little higher high. So this is your, what I call your identified swing on your medium side, and this is your secondary identified swing. So this is the way I look at this trade. If this breaks here, I'm going to be looking for any kind of retracement for a rollover, because that would be changing backgrounds and everything. Okay, that's a trade we might be looking for, but we'll see. All right, but first off, we're looking still for what? Longs, right? Okay, so let's see if we can get one. I'll speed this up again, and I'm going to let this run, and I want everybody to kind of tell me where you see the trade setting up. The very next trade setup. Let me draw some lines here. That's Lightning 3. If this breaks this, you could actually, if it does happen to break it, you could actually short this, by the way, because that's a lightning 3 swing. All right, let's see what happens. Now, we're not going to buy a thrust. That was a predictor trade. I missed that. Whoa, there's a little pullback. All right, let's draw on our chart again. Got support here, right? And we got support right down here. Now, this would be a sweet little phantom trade if it did happen to come into this little area here, or it would be breaking down, one or the other. Now, if you were to take this trade right here, anybody? What you'd want to do is you'd want to scalp more than likely because you are range bound right now. Okay? So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a line 2 to a line 1 trade. So I'm looking in this little box right here. Let's see if we can get one. And I'm only going to go for, well, if I get a line 1 trade, I'm going to go for 15 ticks. Because line 1 to mid band is 6, and 6, and 6 is 18. We should be able to get 12 to 15. I'll go for 12. See if we can get it. We'll draw a region. Looking to the left to trade the right is what we're doing tonight. All right, so if it gets inside this little box, I'll be turning on our trade. Let's see, since we have lightning 3, we will look short. Why is that? Thank you. Well, keep in mind, Lewis, if this breaks, you've got to always be looking at your charts to see where, if they break, that they will change trends. Because anytime they get below this midband, they're trying to change trends. We could have shorted that right there. I was mentioning that as it was happening, and that would have been a 10-tick trade. But that's also a counter trend trade because the overall trend is still up. Okay, we're going to see if we can get a trade. If it'll go down anywhere inside my box, I'm going to turn it on. But it's got to at least get to line 2 or I'm going to skip this trade. See if we can get it. Remember, I've also said too that when you get a line 2 trade, your next one's usually a line 1 trade. You see that time and time again, by the way. Everybody see that? Now, will this one do it? We don't know for sure if it will, but we're going to try to get down and do a line 1 trade if we can. Not getting it yet, are we? It hadn't even bounced off of line 2 yet, so I don't like that trade just yet. It hasn't touched line 2. See how it's missed it? A true phantom trade's line 2. Now, if we were to box this in, we could still take it by boxing it up here and try to get 10, 15. There we go. There we go. All right, we just got our 2 contracts. All right, we're going to put a nice tight stop at line 0. And we're going to try to get to mid-band. That'll give us 16 ticks. Okay? And the reason for that is because most of the time when you get a phantom trade, it will go to mid-band. Now, if it goes higher and we just have one target, we're not going to get a runner at all. But you don't really care that much about a runner all the time. Okay? Because sometimes it's just about the money. I mean, if you get a 10, 15 tick trade on oil, that's, there you go. It's like a $300 bill. Okay? All right. What are we looking for next? Anybody? What type of trade are we looking for next? Well, you could technically, if you were looking to the left to trade the right, if they break this little swing right here, you could probably short it if it closes below that. You could box it. And that's if it breaks. Now, if this starts just heading up, that's fine with me. But let's see if we can get, looks like they're starting to break a little bit to me. That would be a short outside that box if it happens to break that box right there. We'll try it for 12 ticks if it does. Now keep in mind, this is a box-in trade like we teach in the room all the time. Now we already got our long trade, so what are we waiting on? We're waiting on a retrace. See if we can get one. How do you avoid a fake short since the background is not red? Well, the reason for that, Paul, is if you box it in, you know, like we do at the opens. I'm going to see if we get a little fake at all. We'll find out. I would probably take a trade like this if it does break, but I would only do it for like a few ticks, maybe down to this line, possibly 10 ticks. But if it fakes it, I'll show you how I would trade it. Let me just hit it manually instead, and we'll see. I may get stopped. We'll find out. It's not breaking support yet. Well, we went ahead and got it anyway. So let's see if we can get down. We'll try for the 12 ticks. But the way I would trade this would be this. See this bar right here? That bar needs to close down. Okay, and it didn't. So you got to be careful with this trade. See there how they wick you and fake you into that? So I usually let them have another bar. And I'm probably not going to give them all the way up to here because that would lose me a lot of my money. Wow, I got 4 contracts somehow. We didn't really want 4, but let's stick with it and see if we get something. I'll stop it out if it literally tries to close inside that box too much. We'll see. Now keep in mind with your stop all the way up there that there's occasionally times that they'll shotgun the market and you might need to tighten your stop. There, we're okay. We're okay. Like I say, I'll usually let them have a bar, and then I'd probably put this nice and tight stop just in case with an exit on close. And if it takes it out, it takes it out. I don't care. Because this could end up being, you know, not a profitable trade. See how it broke down below support? You ever notice that they just love to fake you on those? See how they give you at least a bar? You know, if you're willing to give it a bar and see if that bar will roll over too, then you're usually pretty good on it. And if this stops me out, it stops me out. I don't really care. See, it still held resistance. Still held resistance. And we're okay. See how lightning even kind of popped down a little bit? So we could put our stop literally right there now. Would be 3 ticks with the close of a bar. And we could, well, we already got our target. I couldn't move it in time. Okay? Now let's look to the left to trade the right some more, okay? Let's see if we can figure out a couple of more trades. You want to just go to this morning where I called some very, very good trades, and I'll show you how they were called and why they were taken. We can do that. Let me see, I'd have to fast forward this a little bit and it'll kill our trades. You can see we're up pretty nicely on it. Okay, guess what? Look at that, red background. Now, our midband hasn't changed yet, notice that? But our background has. So we're going to have to be really careful taking trades. So if I was to take a trade in through here, I'd look for a low, a high. Hopefully this bar would come down. If it doesn't, I'm not going to chase the trade. See how they're bouncing off my line? Probably should have taken it right down there. I'm more than likely not going to take this one unless they give me a good pullback where I can get in at a better position. See, they're still heading up on it, so I'm skipping that trade. I don't like it. Everybody see why? Because I didn't get in where my line was. So I'm not going to chase this trade. I don't care if it goes to the moon. Because here's what I'd be looking for if I had. Notice how power meter hadn't even changed green yet. The reason is because none of these bars have pulled back. See there, high bar, high bar, high bar, high bar, high bar. If it would have done this, just barely bounced off that low, and then like it was going to fake you, kind of pull back. This is a trade I love. Get a higher low, and then they start trying to break. then I'd be Johnny on the spot for it. But not so much when they do that. So you can't even get in on power meter. Okay, let's fast forward and see if there's any trades on this thing. Okay, what trade is this, everyone? Well, yes and no, actually. Because see, the midband has not changed. This is not a true phantom. This is not a true phantom. Now, if you take this as a phantom, what I'd recommend doing is boxing it in. In other words, if we get lightning going red, see, like right now we're getting a high, a lower bar, and trying to break down. You could go ahead and box it like that. But I'd probably go back to 1 on that simply because it's a $10 instrument. Or you could wait for it, don't even turn this on yet, and you may miss a trade, but you won't get faked into one. And wait to see if you can see lightning actually start with a high, a low, a lower high, and start actually, you know, doing something besides sideways. Let's see if we can do it. Just, we'll hit the button manually if I see it. Yep, pretty much. I'm going to go ahead and sell it. See why? Lower highs. Looking to the left to trade the right, I would probably be looking for this swing over here to the left and take my coin. Everybody see why we took that? Now that turned out to be a pretty decent little trade, didn't it? Where would you put your stop? Look to the left to trade the right, lightning. Okay. Now, Brian, on your question from earlier, keep in mind that, remember when you don't get any kind of a pullback, see how lightning 2 just went all the way up like that? That's where you have to use your human eyes instead of watching lightning, because we have no control over whether it's going to swing or not. Okay. When they swing, you can really see the lightning so much clearer. Let's see if lightning 1 would have drawn there. I don't think it would have. Yeah, it would too. See there? That's why lightning 1 can come in handier, because see, I had a swing here. Okay, but with lightning 2, it just went straight up. Okay. And you know, that's why you have to actually utilize what you see with your eyes and then pull whichever lightning you want to see. Okay. Now, what kind of a trade are we looking for now, everyone? Well, it looks like they're trying to break down, but they just can't do it. It's still sideways. Let's see if we can get any kind of a breakdown or break up. There's a breakdown. There's a breakdown. Everybody see that? See how it took out my line right there? Look at the red midband. Now what trade are we looking for? Anybody? We're looking for either midband or a phantom trade. And you can do it conservative or aggressive. I recommend, if you're going to actually do like a trend line, what you want to do is you want to get a thrust, a pullback, so you can draw a trend line. Let's see if it does it. Not yet. That's a little yellow bar probe so far. There's your little trend line. Everybody see it? You could draw it like this. And I would watch for a phantom on here and see if we can get a little phantom trade. That's one thing about oil. Oil actually does. And by the way, you could have taken this in a little breakup trade, but keep in mind you're trading against the trend when you trade against this midband and with that background. Because I'm actually looking for a short trade. There's support right there. And if it takes it out by a couple of ticks, I'll put a nice tight stop at the top of the swing right here. Let's see if we can get another trade. Now notice it didn't quite get to Phantom. That's fine. We still like these blue bar probes. See that candle up, candle down? You know, technically if this candle closes, that's a 1, 2, 3 reversal. You could actually just hit the market order. But this box will do the same thing for you. Now, if we get a little pullback on the blue bar, we could go ahead and do like a trend line break instead. Okay, let's see if it dances off that trend line at all. Everybody getting a good picture of being able to see, looking to the left to trade the right a little bit better, clearer tonight? Because this makes a world of difference in your trading. I can promise you that, because I know today, to give an example, you know, I called a really, really good trade on crude oil. That's first to the market. We took it long. Everybody remembers that, should remember it. And I'm going to fast forward to it in just a minute and I'll show you that trade. Okay, let's see. Did we get a short yet? That's 2 ticks. Might not be 3 yet, though. There we go. Okay, we're in 2 now. I'd put my stop nice and tight just in case they decide to take this thing up instead of down. Everybody see why on that? Okay, now notice it's right at a trend line. That's a blue bar rollover. Notice how that had a predictor there too. Those predictors are really, really nice at getting some good trades. Anyway, I'll just fast forward this and see if we get 12 ticks or whatever. But then I'm going to go to today and show you why some trades were called and how they were done. There you go. You got it. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go to, today's the 10th. I'm going to go to 8:01 on the 10th. Bear with me a second. I'll go ahead and fast forward this. And about 6:30ish, I'm pretty sure. I like to trade about then. Let's let it go ahead and go. And let's diagnose our chart also. It's about 5:24 in the morning, right? How many of you get up at 5 or so to trade? Anybody? That's actually a pretty classic trade right there. See it breaking that little swing right there? I'm going to go ahead and take that, because looking to the left to trade the right, see that swing right there? That's a higher low. And I put my stop pretty tight just in case, like so. Everybody see that? Now, will this trade work out? Well, let's find out. We got 2 contracts on. Let's just see. Look at that. Worked. Now, does anybody see a trade setting up as we speak right now? As I speak right now? Anybody at all? You got a red background. You've got a stair stepping up. What kind of trade is this, everyone? Mid-band trade? Could be? What do you think? Well, first off, let's see if we'll bring our stop right under here. Here's resistance right over here. It's just hitting it, see it? If you draw on your charts, you'll see it. So if we don't break above here, we're liable to pull back at mid-band, because we are getting a red background. And red backgrounds usually mean, you know, trend changes, at least for the time being. So be careful when you see those red backgrounds. They're pretty ominous. They do work. Okay? So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to draw a wedge underneath the lows. And I'm going to actually flip directions if this takes out that trend line. The reason for that is because of that red background. And and that mid-band. And looking to the left to trade the right, it's hitting its head at resistance so far. Now, if it blows through it, hey, we're happy. We're happy campers. Now, notice our P&L went down because when you fast forward Ninja Trader on the replay, it does away with your trades. Just teaching here anyway. These are replay. Okay, now what you want to also do is just like I did on my charts this morning. I went ahead and looked. You know, and this is pretty important to do when you're trading. Okay, thrust, retrace, thrust. Get ready to draw your fibs. I always like to have my fibs on my charts too. And does anybody remember that I had a line drawn on my chart right here at the open of the market? And where you could short this trade here, you could go long on this trade down here. And I actually showed that in the room this morning, and I did that because what I was seeing was that this was still a major uptrend at the time. It was a phantom so far. If it rolled over, I would go ahead and short it because it would more than likely come down and test the low. That's a mid-band type trade. And you could even turn on power meter if you wanted to, because if this was to roll over, power meter will catch that trade too. I'll show you what I'm talking about if it'll go ahead and do it. Let's see if it does. I'll just leave the wedge up. I like that wedge. Let's fast forward it just a little bit. And we're going to do a touch +2. Object Trader will flip that trade, see there? And lo and behold, look at that. And I was looking to the left to trade the right when I was doing this morning. And I saw this happening in real time. And y'all saw my charts this morning because I showed this oil trade in the room. And I was simply watching this. And when this came down to that 38% retracement, I just grabbed it. And I'll show you how I did it. I was watching for the retracement. You can even, we've got a little feature on here that you can reverse at a target. Like, well, matter of fact, there it is at 38%. And the minute it went back above it, I just clicked a long. Well, that was late. But you saw my trade was actually better than that because I got it quicker because I turned on bar close. And I got that little run like that. Now, let's just say that you didn't get this trade, okay? But looking to the left to trade the right, can anybody see where you'd be looking for a trade both directions? If it breaks down, we're looking for a trade, and if it breaks up, we're looking for a trade. Anybody see them? Let's go back to the black chart, and I think you'll see it even clearer. Let's get rid of the lines. Get rid of the predictors. Draw our lines on our chart. Okay, so we had a pull down to right at this 89, was it? 89. Let's draw a line. Let's change the color so y'all can see it. Yeah, pale green will be good. All right, and then let's draw another line. Right up here. And another line right across this area right here. And let's draw our lightning and see where the trade is right now. Okay, the trade is right here so far. Now, how many of you actually go ahead and see a trade if it breaks? What do you think? Because I drew it in the room this morning. Anybody remember it? Because I can see it right now. Now you've got it here. See it? So what's the trade on this chart right now? Anybody? I see this. I see it's going to either break up and pull back and kiss, or it's going to break down below here and come back and kiss for a short. Okay? But if it comes back and kisses here, see that right there? Anybody remember that trade call in the room this morning? See that right there? Could you actually add right now? Even you'd have to be, a little careful to do that. But it bounced right off of 17. Everybody see that? And we drew it, and you can clearly see it. See there? Top is 52. Remember in the room this morning, I called that. Said if it doesn't take out 52, we're double topping. Anybody remember that? Where would you put your stop on this? Just below here. You're out. Come back to mid-band. More than likely can get you a little popper trade. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see. Looking to the left to trade the right. I'd like for it to actually at least come down to there. And it bounced too quick. I missed it. See how it hit my line? Not going to chase it. I got this going 50 times, so to be fair about it, it hit my line exactly. I just wasn't able to get it. And we'll put our stop just under there. Now let's look to the left to trade the right again. Let's see something here, because we caught this in the room this morning. Part of it. Anybody remember it? Let me get rid of the lightning. I'll show you what I see. Let's get rid of these lines. Let's go up here and draw lightning. All right, 20. Oh, look at that. It broke. See there? It broke that line. I got to go in 50 times, so we missed it. But look at that. It just broke support right through there. Headed down. So let's see if you missed the trade, if you can get the retrace. Anybody see the retrace trade setting up as we speak? Closes below right there at that mid band. I'd take that trade short. Anybody else see it? I would absolutely take that trade short if this bar closes below mid band. Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to go ahead and take it. It's taking out that swing to the left. Draw your lines. You'll see it. See it? That's what you got to train your eye to see. If you can see those swings on your charts in real time without pulling up lightning, you'll even be a much better trader than if you have to analyze too much. But looking to the left to trade the right, you're looking at lightning 3, you're looking at lightning 1, or even lightning 2. Also keep in mind if bars go straight up or straight down, you don't get lightning, because lightning is simply zigzags that are like a lightning bolt that strikes. If a lightning bolt struck and it was a straight line up and down, you wouldn't have any zigzags in it. This would be your lightning. If that happened, it'd just do that. But what happens instead? Well, lightning does this. You actually get a thrust, a little retrace, and a thrust. And you don't have lightning until it actually takes out and shows you which direction it's going. And see, once that swing's taken out, that's your identified swing. And of course, lightning just does this all day long. You can see it. This is real over here. This is me just drawing it here, but it does the same thing. It just keeps drawing and drawing. So we got short. If you were a little bit more of an aggressive trader, or conservative trader, how could you take this trade? Box it in. Region, box, short. See if we can just get down there even. That would be 15 ticks at least, wouldn't it? So let's do 15 for 2 of them and 20 for 1. We'll do it on a touch plus 2. See if we can get that one also. See, I did it on a little bit more aggressive one just a minute ago, but you can do it, either way as far as that goes. But everybody see that that's a deep bar probe? Almost came to a phantom. Just not quite. That's the way they do. Anybody have any questions on this thus far? Because we're almost out of time, but I want to be sure and go over any questions. Does everybody see a little bit plainer and clearer how to look to the left to trade the right? You know, draw on your charts. For instance, 17, that's a resistance area, isn't it? You know, isn't this a support area right here? If they break that, aren't they heading down? You know, they're stair-stepping up, they're stair-stepping down if they break that. So let's fast forward it and see if they broke it. Now keep in mind, lightning's a little slower because it's actually got to draw the swings. See there? See there? And if you were using lightning, you got out right here when it closed above that swing. Or you could stay until it takes out this swing right here, and that's actually a lightning swing too. I like to get out personally a little bit earlier with the power meters. And you can see those power meters, see even lightning 2 turned green. So you could be out of that trade now. But wasn't that a monster trade? So now where's your next trade on this chart? Anybody? Anybody at all? Well, it already did a mid-band, so you missed that. There's a phantom setting up. You're in. You took some profit. Everybody see that? Notice how that just kissed resistance that it hadn't checked yet. That's why looking to the left is so important. See how this just shotgunned down? Where did they check? They checked to the left to trade the right. This is actually a little phantom trade. Well, they turned it green, so I probably wouldn't unless it took out the bottom of the box. Right through there. Because our mid-band is still rose. And we got another trade. See why I took that? Mid-band was still rose. But I didn't just take it when it hit phantom. I took it when it actually rolled over and took out a box. Now I've got it going a little bit fast, but let's see if somebody can catch one more trade and then we'll wrap. Got a support, resistance area right there. I'm going to go ahead and take that. It just kissed mid-band. See if we get a little trade on that. Hopefully we do. Maybe, maybe not. It's kind of bouncing up a little bit. Nope, I don't think so. Not unless it rolls right here. I'd probably definitely be protecting that trade by now because see how that's stair-stepping up a little bit? I'm going to give this, if that closes below my cost, I'll be okay. But if it doesn't, yeah, we're still okay. But I'm out. See how it just danced around cost on that? All right, let's see if we can get one more. It's got to take out the low. It's a mid-band trade setting up. What do you think? Anybody? It's not stair-stepping back down yet, is it? Not yet. So could you put your little box right across here with a short? See that swing? And then if it goes up a little higher, we can put it even lower, like say across here. Might we get a trade on that? Well, we don't know for sure, but we'll just keep drawing our box until it either changes trends or we get the short. Where's resistance that they haven't checked? Look to the left to trade the right. They haven't checked there, and they have not checked here. Okay, and they have not checked here, actually. See if they have. They almost got that one, didn't they? Didn't quite. So let's see if we can get a phantom trade again. I'll see if I can get it. See how it kissed resistance? I think I'm too late. It's too fast. I'm going to go ahead and short it. See it hit my phantom just within a couple of ticks. I'm going to take a chance on that and see if it works. Now that's aggressive, keep in mind, because it could hit this line right here. So I'm going to put my stop a little higher than that. We'll see if we can get down to this little swing here, looking to the left to trade the right. And that's only 12 ticks. And we got it. See, sometimes, by the way, you know, when I actually closed the room earlier at 10 today, they had this monster nice drop like this right here. This one right here. You don't have to catch all of that. I just tossed on a couple of contracts when I saw it break my line, and that did a $300 bill in a heartbeat. You know, sometimes it's just about the money. It's not about, you know, necessarily, you know, getting the entire run. You just got to see on your charts and see what's happening. Okay? I hope this did help some to see looking to the left to trade the right. Keep in mind your most conservative trade is going to be looking at these swings, the ones that are numbered, okay? Because that's where your real support and resistance is. See, right now, like for instance, you could draw your lines like that. You're in a range. So what would you be looking for? Well, I can tell you what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for a break and a pullback. Whoop, drew the wrong one. Sorry about that. Break and a pullback. Get rid of this line. Or I'd be looking for a break and a pullback. I'd want to break full support and come back and kiss. Probably here if they didn't check it, or here if they had already checked this. See, in other words, you don't know that yet because right now, see, this could take this out barely and then pop back up, but we would be waiting for a thrust, a pullback, and a rollover. And if you look at your actual chart, you'll see that they're pretty much just sideways right now, right? So that's what you'd be waiting for. And that's after hours anyway, so I think that's all the information I got. So your chart's diagnosed for even now. If you break above, look for a pullback. If you break below, look for a pullback. In the meantime, you know, with the red midband and everything, you can actually be looking for shorting these resistance areas for quick rollovers. If they go against you hardly at all, just get out of them quickly. Okay? If you want to not take chances in sideways stuff like this, then just wait. Don't trade it yet. Just diagnose your charts and watch for the real breakdown. Because what happens is they'll break down, then they consolidate, then they'll either break up and pull back and kiss and take off, or they'll break down, come back and kiss and roll over. One or the other is going to happen probably within the next couple of hours. Now, I don't trade this time of night, so I don't care, but that's the trade I'd be looking for. Okay? Thanks, everyone, for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And keep in mind, there's conservative and aggressive ways to trade this. If you're a little bit more aggressive, you got to be careful and get out of trades fairly quickly. And also remember, when the market opens tomorrow morning at 8:30, pardon me, don't be just jumping around in those markets. I talked to a few people that got whacked a couple of times. Charles got whacked a couple of times. I know he did. He had to, because he said box it in at midband and it just barely wicked you in. And I'm here to tell you, that's not as much my type of trading. Pull back, kiss, you know, wait for the... Now, if you just do like one contract and test the waters, and then when they fake you out and you have a box drawn and they go the other way and you get a nice short, you more than likely make up for it. But what if you did 5 contracts when it barely broke and they take you for $300 before they ever swing it the other way? It takes you a few moments to get your $300 back, doesn't it? So just be careful. You know, at the open of the market, they love to whip around more, and they do more like this. They watch these larger swings. You know, they're not looking at this little stuff like this. They're looking at this instead, like this. See if I can draw it. I should be able to draw it. There we go. All right, see, they're looking more at those type of swings. And like I said, if you learn to see these and draw on your charts, you know, you don't have to be in this stuff right here if you don't want to. You could look for this trade and this trade like that. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the morning. I'll call some more trades for you. Ron W., on your question, the reason you don't put a line at 67.83 is because the top of 68, 67.83. You may have said that quite a bit earlier. Yeah, you must have said that quite a bit earlier. If I didn't have a line there, it would have been that, yes. All right. Thanks, everyone. Love the repetition, right? See everybody tomorrow morning. Good night.